Hello everyone, welcome back to yet another video. In this video we are going to discuss about while loop. In the last video we have discussed about for loop, what is the syntax and how we have to use for loop, and even we have discussed about continue and break statement like the loop controls, right? So in this video we are going to discuss about the syntaxes and the usage of while loop and why and how we have to use a while loop in Python. So we'll be discussing about that. Let's get started. So let's look at the syntax of while loop. Generally it will be started with a keyword called while, and then we'll be giving a condition and then colon the statements to be executed. Okay, this is the syntax, how to represent this is the syntax to represent the while loop, right? We have to use the keyword called while, and then we have to give a sort of condition, and then if the condition is satisfied, if we need to execute some statements, right? It may be statements or anything like any logic of the program, right, for several times repeatedly. So we'll be using loops. So what it does is the condition which we have given will be evaluated first, and then if the conditional expression gives a boolean value of true, if we check the condition, if it checks the condition, if it is giving true value, then the while loop statements are executed. Whatever the statements are we have written in the loop, they will be executed. So the conditional expression is verified again when the complete code block is executed, right? This procedure repeatedly occurs until the conditional expression returns the boolean value false. Until and unless the condition gives false, it will not be able to stop. We can't able to stop while condition until the condition is false. Okay, if the condition is true, it will be executing repeatedly. Let's take an example. Let's assume we have while true itself, we are using simply true. If I just try to print hello, if I run this, you can see the output. Hello is going on printing infinite times. It entered an infinite loop because the while is true. Repeatedly it will be checking the condition, so the loop will not be able to stop. So now this is the thing with while loop. So you have to check the condition first, and then if the condition is true, the remaining statements or whatever conditions or maybe the program we have, it will be executed, right? This is the sort of thing you have to understand in while loop. So let's take some other examples in while loop. Let's assume we have a variable called I is equal to 1, and then while I less than or equal to 5, print I, and then I plus is equal to 1. I is equal to I plus 1. Let's run this. You can see we have got the output 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. See here we have taken a variable called I is equal to 1. The initial value of I is 1, right? While I is less than or equal to 5. We are saying less than or equal to 5. If 1 is the value of I 1 is less than or equal to 5 is true, right? So it will be printing the value of I. Present value of I is 1. So I is printed. Now in the next step what we are doing is I is equal to I plus 1. The value of I here is 1. So 1 plus 1, it will be becoming 2. So now 2 will be the I value, right? So the loop will be checking again 2 less than or equal to 5. Then 2 will be printed. In the same way 3, 4 and 5 until 5, it will be checking 5 less than or equal to 5. 5 is less than or equal to 5. So 5 is equal to 5. So that's the reason to print 5 also. So then it will be checking 6 less than or equal to 5. Since it's a wrong statement, it will be giving a boolean value of false. It will be executed. The loop will be executed. Let's assume we have 6 also. If you run this, you will be getting 6. See, that's the reason behind this while loop. And we have to note that for loop is self incremented. For loop we know don't need to use any incrementation or decrementation as we said earlier. So whereas in while loop we have to mention the increment or decrement, right? So that's the reason to use incrementation in this while loop. So you have to keep in mind that you have to use incrementation or decrementation in while loop, whereas there is no need to use increment or decrement variable in for loop. So it will be automatically doing that job. So what we need to do is we need to understand the type of loop which it is. This is an entry control loop, right? So if the condition is true only, it will be printing or executing the set of statements repeatedly until and unless the loop is false. Okay, that's the reason and idea behind the while loop. So once again, let's look at the syntax. As we said earlier, we have to use the keyword while and then a sort of condition or something, and then we have to write the statements, right? So this is the loop structure we need to follow, right? If the condition is true only, the loop will be repeatedly executing. Otherwise, what it will be doing? It will be exiting the loop. Okay, that's the idea behind it. So this is the sort of thing which we need to use in Python. Okay, as you can see in our previous example. So in the upcoming video, we'll be discussing more about loop controls like break and continue keywords. So we'll be discussing deeper about break and continue. So that's all for the video. Thanks for watching.